At Mbira Boys High School. This will be the tallying center for Ugunja by-election. Of course, this by-election is stated by the fact that the former MP Opiyo Ndai has assumed the role of the Cabinet Secretary for Energy, and of course necessitating this by-election. As we have already talked about it, 10 contestants have already thrown themselves into the field for this particular seat, and of course 60,000, slightly over 60,000 registered voters will be going out tomorrow for the purpose of ensuring that indeed they elect their next member of National Assembly. Of course, they'll be doing that across 116 polling stations across this constituency. As we speak right now, this place was a beehive of activities during the day. However, right now, most of the things that were actually here, those were strategic voting materials, have actually been dispatched to various polling stations across the constituency. And now what is happening is that the returning officer, Denis Omari, has just finished that job, and what he's actually doing next is actually to do spot check across all 116 polling stations across this constituency to ensure that indeed each and everything is in place and is in top gear ahead of tomorrow's by-election. Before we let him go, we'll just have a chat with him so that then he tells us what we expect tomorrow, if everything is in tandem with what they had actually planned for, and if indeed this by-election will be going on tomorrow morning as planned. Karibu sana, Bwana returning officer. Just put us into perspective. Today has been a beehive of activities, and of course this is the penultimate day in terms of ensuring that everything is in place. Are we ready for this by-election tomorrow?
Absolutely, we are ready. All our officers have arrived at their stations. We've gotten feedback. Each and everyone is already preparing his team ready for tomorrow. And as usual, we do spot check throughout the night to ensure that everything is in order. Just from another security meeting where we've agreed on how we shall run our activities, especially at the tallying center tomorrow with the candidates and the entire security team. So all systems are up and running, and we absolutely believe all will be well.
In terms of security, of course, this is just one of the many meetings that you've actually had in terms of ensuring that you put everything in place. So far, where are we in terms of ensuring that this by-election is actually going as per the law?
All polling stations will be manned by armed security officers, 2 of them, the 116, together with a number of contingent backup police officers who will be at every ward in Ugunja constituency. We'll have the anti-riot gear that will be moving around the wards. So any form of interference or any form of intimidation will be met with the strong arm of the law. And I want to believe that our people should, with the presence of these big numbers of security, will be assured that their security is guaranteed, and they'll come out in large numbers to cast their votes.
What time are we opening our polling stations?
We shall be up and running as early as 6 in the morning, unless anything interrupts that, but basically as from 6 in the morning.
Yeah, closing?
Closing is at 5 in the evening in all polling stations, unless there was anything during the day that guarantees, that warrants kind of extension to cover for the time lost in case there was any interruption.
Yes. There's a tendency of voters coming out and just milling around polling stations, and others actually coming out, not coming out and waiting to actually vote later in the day. Probably just your advice to them as we wait for this exercise tomorrow.
All electorates are advised to get to the polling station, cast their vote, and leave to their homes. All candidates have agents in every polling station, and they will take charge, and they will be the people with whom, or they are the people who will ensure that there is a lot of transparency, and they will work hand in hand with the presiding officer to ensure that everything will be done as per the law.
Just before we let you go, of course, we cannot predict what will happen tomorrow in terms of when we will be closing the stations and of course, at what time in particular we'll be announcing the results. However, you have a plan. What is the plan?
We expect that we will receive our first presiding officers by, let's say, around 8 in the evening, if all factors remain constant. And by 9, I want to believe that all our presiding officers will be within our tallying center. However, the process of tallying this may take slightly longer because of the scrutiny and all that requires in preparation to collect and have the results tabulated.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is the returning officer, Dennis Omari, just telling us exactly what they've actually put in place in terms of ensuring that this by-election is actually held within the parameters of the law, and ensuring that indeed the exercise goes on as planned tomorrow. Tomorrow, 60,000 plus registered voters here in Ugunja constituency will be coming out, of course, to cast their vote in 116 polling stations across the country. The RO says that security is in top gear. He's had several security meetings, and of course the latest one just being a few minutes ago, and they'll be having more security meetings in terms of ensuring that indeed those that will actually be coming out to cast their vote will do so peacefully. And of course he urges that each and every person who has actually registered as a voter come out early, cast your vote, and go home. And of course, he's saying that they expect that indeed they'll be they'll be starting to receive the results from polling stations across the constituency at the right time. Of course, that has been the returning officer in Somali. My name is Achula Simon. Of course, I take you back to Broadcasting House.